welcome to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Today we're going to have a little change up in our regular repertoire. We always talk about how you should, empowering you to be better selves than what you are. But today we're going to talk about something that's really near and dear to me, and that is racism in America. Is Black America under attack? We're going to get deep into that conversation a little bit later, but you know, we always start the show off with shenanigans, but today I'm not going to start it off with shenanigans. I want to put some disclaimers out there. I want to, say that I'm not saying that all people that are not of color are evil and that they're doing things. I'm just going to bring light to a situation. And I want to say that here on Destiny Talk Live, we respect, appreciate, and value everyone's opinion. And we ask that you do the same. So if you call in and you want to be a part of the conversation, please keep it clean, be respectful, because that's what we're going to be to you. And I also want to put out there a disclaimer to my all lives matter people. I understand what you're saying. I agree that all lives do matter. But the issue that I'm having with that statement is, does it really? Because if you look at it, you can see the total injustices, and we're going to bring that up, and we got proof to back it, that's happening out there to people of color. And if all lives matters, I don't see a lot of you protesting when a black man is got his hands up in the air and the cop is there and he dies. But someone who does a mass shooting of a high school or somewhere else walks out with a bulletproof vest and look like they just had a shower. So that's just my opinion. So I want to say that I respect yours, respect mine. If you call into the station, you type in your comments or your questions, please keep them clean, no cursing, no derogatory statements. This is a grown-up conversation. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I got some great fellas in the house with me co-facilitating the show. I have Anthony Rodriguez, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the Latino population and what they encounter. And he's not saying he represents everybody, but he's representing himself and his family and the things that they encounter. And then we also have John Reid. You guys are familiar with John. He comes on and helps host every now and then. But he has reached out and made connection with our young ladies out in Philadelphia, with Starbucks and so forth. And we're going to tell you about that journey. But today's conversation needs to be had. It needs to be said, and we need to stop hiding behind things and acting like if we ignored it, it's going to go away. Unfortunately, because of the climate of the situation and the state we're in here now, it's getting worse. There's a lot of courage going out there, unnecessary courage, that we might want to kind of take a step back and pay attention to. So if all lives matters, I need all lives and all representation of people to stand up for what's right, no matter what the color of the person's skin is or where they come from or anything of that nature. So if you're about being a part of this conversation, you got some opinions and some insights on things you want to share, please, by all means, make sure you call in and talk to us. But I say again, if you cannot be respectful, please keep your comments to yourself. That's all we're asking. You guys stay tuned and we'll be back with you. This is Destiny Talk Live.
What's a dumb way to listen to an awesome mix of urban hits? Start off.
Sensation Station Network.
Too much sauce.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Do you love great-fitting jeans with trendy styles? Go to RiskDenim.com and check out their fabulous form-fitting premium denim jeans, sizes 1 to 24. Their accurate size charts are designed to make your online shopping experience easier, offering free shipping and no hassle returns because their motto is you should look your hottest at all times. RiskDenim.com, jeans for beautiful women. If you want to stand out in a crowd, get your jeans today at RiskDenim.com.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Today we're going to be talking about racism right here in America against our African American people and our people of color. I have some great guys in the house this morning with me, this afternoon, that are going to share some of their insight. I have Anthony Rodriguez. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what our Latin American culture is experiencing. And you guys know John Reid. He comes in a lot. So Anthony, would you do me a favor, give him a little bit about you and who you are and why you're here today?
Sure, I would love that. First off, I gotta call her Tia Sherry. She's been my aunt and secondary mother figure for the longest since I can remember. 14 years, I believe. I don't know a better, more courageous, more strong woman besides my own mother. But as I said, she's guided me and my best friend Julio throughout all these years and always guided us on the right path. So thank you very much, Sherry. I'm glad to be part of the show. I just recently left the Army, was active duty soldier. Prior to that, I was just working, raising family. I am married with a daughter, so in case anybody looking at me. But
and they will be looking at you too, believe me.
But apart from that, I used to go to college. Before that, I actually used to teach freelance languages, English, Spanish, and Portuguese. I think it's important for people that the more they can learn and the more languages they learn, the more you can communicate and connect with people, because that's what really it's about. That's what life is about, is connecting with other people. If you can't do that, then what are you really living for?
Você fala português?
Eu falo no português. Hey.
He knows 2 words. Don't let him fool you. Okay, say John.
8 years self-taught plus college. Hey, and 1 ex-girlfriend.
John, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're here today.
Well, we've done some shows in the past, and I've been your co-host, and I really like your platform and format. But, my background is, finance, businessman, entrepreneur, real estate, all that good stuff. But I'm really an advocate for social change. Mm-hmm. I think I've been telling you before about this homeless shelter that's for men, right? Mm-hmm. And because I'm so adamant about social change and injustice, because it's affecting my own sons, with all this stuff that's been going on recently, I've reached out to a lot of organizations. And you know, Cherry, that you and I have training programs where we can actually train companies and corporations to be more culturally competent.
Right.
And because of that, I'm like, a lot of people just don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more than don't know. I think it's that we try to, because it's such an ugly subject
Mm-hmm.
to talk about, and it's uncomfortable in a sense that we shy away from it. But before I get deep in this, I want to give a big shout out to Nicole Ellis, Deanna Cuervo, Sharon Gilbert, Taisha, Ted Baer, William Thomas. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we do want you to weigh in and let us know what you're thinking. On this segment, we always like to talk about to our men, especially, and we don't just talk to black men, we talk about to our men, period, on things that they should do. But today, I'm directing this conversation to our men of color, okay? And when I say men of color, that's anybody who is not considered white, okay? Because a lot of people are like, oh, here she goes with this rebel stuff. I'm really not concerned at it being uncomfortable for you, because it's uncomfortable to know, because I have a son that I'm afraid that if he goes out and he's just walking down the street and he's a big guy, and somebody gets, I got to call the police because he scares me, and then he gets gunned down because he's walking down the street, that, I worry about that. And I know some of you guys are thinking, she's being extreme. No, we've got cases. We got Trayvon Martin. Young man had Skittles in his pocket and a hoodie and walking home.
Walking while black.
So, it's sad for me, but Alex, we were talking about just some different things that a lot of Latino Americans run into. And what I found out, having my kids being Dominican, also black, listening to some things that they grew up with, is I didn't realize that in the Latin American culture, discrimination is just as rampant between their own, light skin, dark skin. Tell me what is your feeling about that?
So to begin off, anybody who would think that being Hispanic, you're not of African descent, unless you are strictly native from your actual country, such as from South America, Central America, you are Aztec, Mayan, or any of the close relatives to that, you are African descent. You are black, unless, as I like to debate to people, am I too light-skinned? Am I too Chris Brown for you? And I've had to argue this with people because I am from the West Indian descent. I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican. Those are two island nations that do conflict quite a bit. I beg your pardon. They do conflict quite a bit, and they are of many different ancestries, even beyond that. We do have European descent, so yes, we are also of Caucasian ancestry as well. We have French, we have the English, so of course the Spaniards, that's where we get our Spanish culture from, but we are African. Our natives were also blended with the African people that were brought as slaves to the ship. And then we do have instances where in our own families, just because you're too light-skinned, maybe you're just a little too pale, you might not blend with some of the people from, let's say, Cagua in Puerto Rico, or because you're too dark-skinned from Dominican Republic, you might not blend with the rest of them that are in, Santo Domingo, the actual capital of the Dominican Republic. Or maybe you're just too dark-skinned for the rest of the Hispanic culture. When you come here to the Americas and they consider you, no, you're not really Hispanic, you're black.
Right.
The question is why? Like, why do we have to be just one thing? Why can't we be all? Why aren't we all when we are?
And I agree because, like I said, my kids, their father is Dominican. And it used to bother me when they were growing up. People would say to me all the time, they would be like, doesn't that bother you that they learn Spanish and want to speak Spanish, or they gravitate to their Hispanic side? Why? I mean, that's who they are. But hold on, we got a caller on the line, and we're going to get their comment. Hello, caller. Tell us your name, please.
Yes, my name is Untitled Moore. How are y'all today?
We're doing fine. How are you? And what's your name again?
It's Untitled.
Okay,
Moore.
got you. What would you like to share with us today?
Well, I think this is a subject matter that, number one, is near and dear to my heart. And I want to say hello to all the people who are there in the station with you right now. It's a subject matter that I think we don't get an opportunity to talk a lot about enough. And here is the quick and dirty point that I'd like to make. When it comes to African Americans, we have gone through such a large trauma here in the U.S., from slavery to Jim Crow slavery to the civil rights movement, all the way to the point where we are right now. And the number one issue that we face as a culture is how we see the world and how we think. And right now, if I had to just qualify what I'm saying, when you look at how we approach things, I think one of your hosts said that he was in business, entrepreneurship, real estate, things of that nature. Right now, we have such a problem with our self-esteem because we look at ourselves through the lens of our individual programming.
You're
a lot
exactly
of times
right.
We don't know exactly what to do, how to do what to do, and even how to live because of our programming. Watch this. There were individuals who were facing issues with our police officers. If they had just made the right statement with the right attitude and the right disposition, they could have gone home that night.
Well,
but instead, because of how we think, they end up being either incarcerated or even worse.
Hold on for a second. I don't want you to hang up because we're going to go to a commercial. But I want to talk about that statement that you just made. Hold on and don't go anywhere. You guys stay tuned.
You think you can do this to me? I'm the man up in this piece.
Sensation Station Network.
For more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Attention, licensed financial professionals. Are you looking to provide client solutions for longevity risks, withdrawal rate risks, and sequence of return risks? If you answered yes, then Game Plan Financial Marketing could be right for you. We help financial professionals at every level of production by providing mentoring, sales training, and marketing support to help you grow your business. At Game Plan, our top priority is supporting you and helping you reach that next level of success on your terms, not ours. New team members receive a personalized, step-by-step marketing guide to help take your business to the next level. Claim your copy today. Call Brian Cantrell at 404-889-6317. That's 404-889-6317. Offer is intended for licensed insurance professionals only.
Do you love great-fitting jeans with trendy styles? Go to wristdenim.com and check out their fabulous form-fitting premium denim jeans, sizes 1 to 24. Their accurate size charts are designed to make your online shopping experience easier, offering free shipping and no hassle returns because their motto is you should look your hottest at all times. Wristdenim.com, jeans for beautiful women. If you want to stand out in a crowd, get your jeans today at wristdenim.com.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. If you're just joining us, we are talking about this ugly thing called racism we're having here in the United States against people of color. If you want to be a part of this conversation and you're listening to us on Facebook, please go ahead, type your comment in the comment section, and we'll read it out loud and go over it. If you are on TuneIn and want to be a part, all you have to do is text or call to 678-613-5857. We're going to go back to our caller on the line, and Ms. Powell, and she was saying some very good stuff about what's happening and why we're going through some different things for the black culture. Ms. Powell, are you there?
Yes,
okay.
I'm here.
All right.
And I know I thank you so much. I know I don't have a lot of time, but here's what I would want to tell you. Racism does exist. There are issues where there is systemic racism and social racism, economic racism. But until we address how we think, until we address how we do things in a certain way, it's going to always seem like there are more forces against us than forces that are for us. I can tell you unequivocally that there are individuals right now who are leaders in the social realm, they're leaders in the economic realm, but until we address as a mass culture, not just in the leadership, but in the mass culture, how we think, we're always going to run into issues, and it's going to appear to be a vicious cycle. But the way to break the cycle is by reprogramming how we've been programmed heretofore and moving forward with a new, clear, purpose-driven focus that will allow us to move forward and get better.
I appreciate that, and thank you. We're going to discuss that, and thank you so much for calling. I truly appreciate your statements, and we respect everything that you said. So right now, John, I'm going to get your opinion. Tell me what you think about that.
So, unconscious bias, you know what that means?
But you tell our
brains make unconscious decisions as to what makes us feel safe, what makes us feel likable, what makes us feel competent. And we make decisions largely in part based on what feels good to us.
Right.
And so what happens is, you remember Mr. Johnson, the CEO of Starbucks, said he wanted to have training on unconscious bias.
Right.
Because unconscious bias forms our opinion about not only ourselves, but how we perceive you to be.
Right.
How we perceive organizations to be.
Right.
So unconscious bias is a willingness to say, hey, listen, this is how I think, this is how I perceive my society and my world, and it may be wrong, but this makes me feel good. So you have to retrain how we think. Right. So that's one of the reasons why he wants Starbucks employees to say, hey, you've already got some biases inside you.
Right. All of us do. Everybody walking around here do. And I want to give a big shout out to Carolyn Griffin, David Mitchell, and for you guys for tuning in and talking with us. So I want to go to the line first because here I have some comments and I want to get you guys' opinion on it. Ted Bear says, wait a minute. Okay, he said he has to catch back up. I'm sorry. So Deanna Cuervo says, how do you explain the murders that happened to those who did comply the right way? And that's a very good question. I mean, because I hear it all the time, oh, we should have just laid down, but they did lay down.
Right.
Or they did have, and we've seen the tapes. You know, their hands up in the air. They're doing different things. So when you comply and you still die, how do you explain that?
And hence the conversation. This is why we're having this conversation. Right. Because 3 guys recently, Dylan Roof, that guy, what's his name, Tyler, Travis, whatever his name is, have killed 30 people in the last few months.
Right.
But they still have the ability to be judged by their peers.
Right.
They're still alive. We got people down for a toy gun, right? Some guy had a permit. Some guy has cigarettes, unlawful cigarettes, and they end up dead. And they're not able to be judged.
And one was reaching for his license, like they asked and the stuff, and was killed in front of his family. So I get it. I get what people are saying, but it's not still explaining to me when we do comply. Are we even going into that situation given the same type of courtesy? And also Sharon Gilbert said, I remember growing up, there was a slogan, black is beautiful. But today, I am uncomfortable being black and constantly worry about my son because he is black. He is a black male, innocent or guilty. Our black men and other men of color are endangered species, and she's right. They are. You are endangered. I don't care where you're going at, because I hear it all the time. You know, my son has been in stores and people walking around, he's a big guy and they're looking crazy, and then you see the white people clutching their purses and looking, and you know, we get discriminated against, not just white folks, we get it from all different types of races, and I don't even understand that. I don't even understand where it's coming from. She also said animals tend to have more rights and advocates for their well-being instead of men of color. Just when you think things are changing for the better, another man of color is gunned down with no justification or justice. But white male mass killers are taken alive and go to trial. In most cases, officers don't even shoot at them, and they are armed or have shot at the police, and that is true. So sad, but disheartening and disgusting.
And here's one of the problems. Law enforcement is a common denominator in all this. Law enforcement. They are supposed to de-escalate situations.
No, they don't do it.
When they see us, their unconscious bias comes in, and instead of de-escalating, they escalate it. They won't give us the same courtesies of explaining what happens, as they would to another culture.
Right. So Anthony, let me ask you this about the comments and the caller comments. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I do think that the police tend to escalate further the situation. As he said, there was actually a case, I don't know if a lot of people saw it, it was all over Facebook. This was also shot by one of my personal friends from high school. There was a black male, he was actually put down, not shot, let me rephrase. He was taken down, handcuffed by 5 police officers.
Right.
In the back of the patrol car, there was an auto zone towards the left. So he was hidden from view unless you could see from that angle. And you got 5 police officers, and they're all beating on this one black male who was supposed to be handcuffed. The question is why, if the target, because let's assume the person might have done wrong first. The target has been subdued first, and he is already tied up in an appropriate manner. What is the further beating of him down for?
Right.
Why?
And here's my thing, too. Even if he was handcuffed, you got somebody that just shot up a whole school, and y'all, I mean, I don't see weapons drawn. I mean, you're all right, get down, and then you put him down, but then he comes up, he got a bulletproof vest on, and we taking our young men away in body bags. They'll go nowhere, anybody. This conversation is deep. We're going to come back, and we're going to get deeper into it, and we're going to talk. And like I said, if you want to be a part of this conversation, go ahead, type your comments in or call me, 678-613-5857.
Roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch. Or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie calendars. It's time to say.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Attention, licensed financial professionals. Are you looking to provide client solutions for longevity risks, withdrawal rate risks, and sequence of return risks? If you answered yes, then Game Plan Financial Marketing could be right for you. We help financial professionals at every level of production by providing mentoring, sales training, and marketing support to help you grow your business. At Game Plan, our top priority is supporting you and helping you reach that next level of success on your terms, not ours. New team members receive a personalized, step-by-step marketing guide to help take your business to the next level. Claim your copy today. Call Brian Cantrell at 404-889-6317. That's 404-889-6317. Offer is intended for licensed insurance professionals only.
Do you love great-fitting jeans with trendy styles? Go to RiskDenim.com and check out their fabulous form-fitting premium denim jeans, sizes 1 to 24. Their accurate size charts are designed to make your online shopping experience easier, offering free shipping and no hassle returns because their motto is you should look your hottest at all times. RiskDenim.com, jeans for beautiful women. If you want to stand out in a crowd, get your jeans today at RiskDenim.com.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
Up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Destiny Talk Live. If you are just joining us, we are talking about racism in America against people of color, of Black America. In the house today are my guests, Anthony Rodriguez and John Reid. If you are listening to us and you want to be a part of the conversation and you're on Facebook, type your comments in the comment section. We'll read it out loud, and then we'll discuss it on air. If you're listening to us on TuneIn Radio and you want to be a part of the conversation, you can text or call to 678-613-5857. I want to give a big shout out to Vernon Nixon all the way out in Kuwait. Thank you for tuning in. Lita, Cynthia, Bonita, Suzette, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You know, we were talking about, and the caller that called in, thank you so much. She had raised a question as to how do we change the way of thinking, and her belief is that if we had reacted differently, some of our African American males who have passed on had acted differently, they may be still alive. But then another viewer asked the question: if they comply and still die, what's the answer? You know?
Because the guys from Starbucks, the real estate agents, right? One of them was my frat brother. They were calm, polite, right? And so they lived to see another day. That situation doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always happen. I mean, because you see it time and time again where I've seen videos with them on their knees and so forth. But I'm going to talk about this young lady at Waffle House.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about her for a second, because here's the deal. From my understanding, what I read okay, so maybe she had alcohol in her system or in her hand, whatever. She ordered food, and she asked for plastic silverware. And they told her it was going to cost 50 cents. Now, I'm going to put Waffle House on blast right now. I've been to Waffle House plenty of times, ordered food, and never paid 50 cents for no silverware or anything like that. So now I'm looking at you suspect right now because of that situation. But it's a woman. You seen the video, guys. What was it? 2 cops slam her down, breasts all out, all this other stuff. And y'all tell me that was justified, that was civilized? Was she out of order? But see, what the problem is, we got that quick dial 911, and they're going to come to your rescue. But now I'm going to take you to a Starbucks issue where there was beyond these two African-American males, is a worker, and you guys can pull the clip up, CNN had it out there, where there was an irate Caucasian man in there because at one of the black workers, and you see the manager on the phone calling for the police and asking them to come in, but I ain't seen no police come in. This guy was able to spit on somebody, walk away, and then knock a man out on the sidewalk.
It's crazy.
Then all of a sudden, because he's detained, now the police come. So there's where my issue is. Do all lives matter?
And there's another incident in Starbucks that happened in February. I don't know if you heard about that one. His name was Brandon Ward. He asked for the code to get into the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
And then they didn't give him the code, right? He had to buy something. So then a Caucasian gentleman comes right behind him, gets the code. So he waits for the Caucasian guy to come back out, whose name was Weston. And he asked Weston, did you buy anything? And Weston said no. And he said, I didn't buy anything either, but you got the code and I didn't. And the clerk, this manager, called the police on the black guy.
Right. So, I'm trying to figure out, why is it so necessary to call the police? The girl bought food at Waffle House. And if somebody works at Waffle House, or you're on Waffle House and you hear this conversation, I need you, if you feel like you handle the conversation, call in and explain to me why she bought food to go and she had to pay 50 cents for silverware.
And it's unnecessary force that was put up on her, right? Then he said, I'm going to break your arm.
Oh, yeah, break your arm, yeah.
And then he choked her.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is an unarmed lady.
Unarmed lady. And two police officers, not one.
Yeah.
Two had to wrestle her down.
So I want to get down to how, since Starbucks seems to be the real hot topic, and there's a lot of other businesses that are actually taking notice of this, including my own place of employment. So the question is, when does trespassing and just being there, where does the line begin and where does it end?
Right.
Because if you notice, in Starbucks, it's supposed to be a place to hang out. I mean, the CEO himself had said that's what it was originally supposed to be. You're supposed to sell coffee. They want to provide Wi-Fi so people could relax, maybe do some work, communicate, network. So what was the difference between two black males who were sitting there only for about not even 2 minutes when the call came in, or just waiting on somebody, as opposed to when other people of society are sitting out for hours, maybe they don't even buy anything. How do I know? I've seen this. Where I was stationed in El Paso, there was a college nearby, and you saw all the Starbucks within 15 miles were all littered with college students of every color, but you could easily see who was kind of watching of the clerks to see who had something on the table, who bought something. How long were they be like? They were looking at the clock, things that I would notice just because. And the question is, again, where is just hanging out switch to trespassing? Where does it become necessary where we all have to actually buy something to hang out, and where only you didn't buy something?
I'm going to even make it even more plain. I was at a Starbucks not too far from the university I go to, and there was a homeless guy sitting there. He ain't buy nothing. He was sitting out there panhandling, asking people whatever. Not once was a cop called. Did nobody ask him to leave? I seen him walk into Starbucks, get a cup of ice, and then on one occasion, I think he got a free cup of coffee.
Wow.
Okay, and this is a homeless man. I smelt it, looked it, and everything else. But you got two brothers who's sitting there clean.
Right.
They got the cops called on them.
They have the right look.
I just want to make sure that y'all understand. I'm putting it out here because I want you guys to see there is injustice. If we keep trying to turn a blind eye, we're going to miss it all. I'm not going to do that anymore. So if you want to be a part of this conversation, come on and talk to me. This is your girl, Cherry G.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Oh, long time no see. It's me, the rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Sensation Station Network.
What you say about that?
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Attention, licensed financial professionals. Are you looking to provide client solutions for longevity risks, withdrawal rate risks, and sequence of return risks? If you answered yes, then Game Plan Financial Marketing could be right for you. We help financial professionals at every level of production by providing mentoring, sales training, and marketing support to help you grow your business. At Game Plan, our top priority is supporting you and helping you reach that next level of success on your terms, not ours. New team members receive a personalized, step-by-step marketing guide to help take your business to the next level. Claim your copy today. Call Brian Cantrell at 404-889-6317. That's 404-889-6317. Offer is intended for licensed insurance professionals only.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Everybody successful lays a blueprint out. You laid the blueprint out. I stayed true to my dreams, and by doing that, eventually it came true.
A lot of times, you know, it's like in life, right? Life brings like drama, and you got to deal with this person, and then funky relationship here, and all these things. You try and just kind of balance them out as best I can.
Make a choice. Like, you just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way.
Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what real beasts do.
Unleash your beast. Write your history.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. If you're just joining us, we're talking about racism in America, basically against black people and people of color. If you're listening to us on Facebook and you want to be a part of the conversation, go ahead, type your comments in the comment section. We'll read it out loud on air. If you are listening to us on TuneIn and want to be a part, it's 678-613-5857. Big shout out to Charles Chenault. Thank you and welcome back. Tony Brooks, T. Andrews, Elijah Lewis, and I can't see it, Reyes. I'm just going to say Miss Reyes. I can't see your name there. But I want you guys to listen to this clip that I got off of CNN. It's from a lawmaker out in Kansas. His name is Steve Alford. You're going to have to listen real careful because the audio is kind of bad. But listen to what he had to say.
The African Americans, they were basically users, and they basically responded the worst to all those drugs just because their character makeup.
Okay, so what they were talking about was legalizing marijuana in Kansas. So what he said is the African Americans, they were basically users, and they basically responded the worst on the drugs because of their character makeup.
No scientific proof.
No scientific, but he said that's why they don't legalize it. If we go back in earlier in there, and he said if you go back and listen or look at why marijuana wasn't legalized, is because of that. And I want y'all to marinate on that for a minute, okay? And we're gonna come back and talk about that because it's our character makeup. You guys stay tuned. You're listening to your girl, Cherry G.
I hear destiny calling me.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes,
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Hey guys, welcome back. Just before the break, we talked about what our Kansas lawmaker Steve Alford had to say about our brothers and black people and weed in our makeup. But I want to read a statement also from one of our viewers. His name is Charles Chenault. He said, to answer, does all lives matter? No, they don't. We are now experiencing what I've been sharing with others. History is now coming back and saying hello. We have gotten too relaxed, and now that 45 is in the office, he has sent a memo that we need to get back to the ways of the old. If this isn't true, call us the U.S. Start support your own. Okay, he says start supporting your own if this isn't true. And you guys, you know, I've been saying it too. It's blind courage. I mean, yes, 45, our current administration has been doing some very questionable things, and it's got people out there doing some things willy-nilly. And when we come back, we're going to get into Mr. Alford's comment, and then I'm going to tell you about some other local things and other things that have been going on. So you guys don't go anywhere.
Sensation Station Network.
Radio 2, Atlanta. Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Text us with your shout-outs and requests to 678-613-5857. Radio, knock them down.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We are talking about racism in America. Racism against the Black Americans and people of color. On the show today with me is Alex Rodriguez and also Jonathan Reid. You know, we've been having some great conversation. If you want to be a part of this conversation and you're listening to us on Facebook, go ahead, type your comment into the comment section and we'll read it out loud. If you're listening to us on TuneIn Radio and you want to be a part, you want to text or call 678-613-5857. Now I want to go back to what before the break and everything, you guys heard the clip of the lawmaker. Again, his name is Stephen Alford and he's from Kansas. His comment was, and they were trying to figure out if they wanted to legalize marijuana in Kansas, okay? So he said that they shouldn't do that, and if we go back and look at it, it's because the African Americans, they were basically users, and they were basically responded the worst on the drugs because of their character makeup. So you know what? I'm gonna start with you, Alex. On that end.
I love them.
So, what's your thought on that?
First and foremost, I find that completely appalling to think that just the Black community are users, as mentioned, of marijuana, because that is extremely false. That is very untrue. If you take a look at California, Washington, Arizona, where it's now been legalized to sale, you have all these business owners, business developers now who are growing and selling their own product, but nobody seems to have an issue with that. Last I checked, apparently some of the tax money that's being made off of it is going towards schools, towards the cities, towards the community. Right. So if that's the case, how is it then that the Black community or people of color, you know, in the rest of the communities are just users, and how is it that it only benefits one side but not the other? Where's that at?
That's a good question. And if anybody out there listening can answer that, call us and let us know or type it in. John, what's your take on what Mr. Alford had to say?
So my first thought was that politicians are ignorant too. Just because you're a politician does not make you smart.
Okay.
Right? He's quoting something about drugs, which he has no idea what he's talking about, and then people listening, so he has an audience. So should I say though? So should I make the comment? Well, white people are predisposed to cocaine, and Black people are predisposed to crack, and they're both the same drug.
Right.
I can make that bias.
We
if
could
I
talk
want
about
to.
the opioid crisis. That's
Right.
going rampant in America. I mean,
yeah, but you know, it's not their makeup; it is ours. Right. Now we had a listener online that says, Deanna Cuervo says, for the all lives matter individuals. If you don't understand why we say Black Lives Matter, then you don't believe that all lives matter. People of color are attacked with racism every day. If all lives matter, then you should be just as upset about the treatment of people of color. All lives matter should be marching and protesting alongside Black Lives Matter simply because all lives matter. And she's right. I mean, you don't see the protests of that. You know, and when I heard that clip with that lawmaker Steve Alford, I was like, this clown. You know, but that again, these are the little digs, and then I want to get you guys' take on this too. So a young man in Florida thought this was funny, and for a prom. They were going to prom, and he had a sign that says, "If I were black, I'd be picking cotton, but I'm white, so I'm picking you for prom."
Right.
All right, let's talk about that. Okay, so he a high school student, and he talking about if he was black, he'd be picking cotton. I got some issues with that whole little statement. Where did you find or think that would be funny?
No, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The question really is also on top of just that one person, because it was that one individual who said that comment. So, because everybody's like, oh, that doesn't mean that defines the whole white community.
Right.
That's true. But the question herein is, why was he so comfortable writing that? Why was he so comfortable saying that in his community? Is it because his community is just predominantly white and they nurture those types of behaviors and those types of comments, or that that kind of disposition, or is it because he just felt comfortable, like he's untouchable? Like, does it go back then to the white privilege that they seem to think that doesn't exist, but the rest of us people of color know it exists?
And see, his parents even took him out of school. They didn't allow him to go to the prom. And so I'm wondering, but that's still how he thinks. And did you hear what happened this morning?
No, what happened this morning?
So Josh Allen is a quarterback for Wyoming, and he's about to enter the draft. They project him to be number 1 or 2 in the draft. It came out today, Yahoo did a news report and said 2011, 2012, he had tweets, racial tweets, saying the N-word. He even had one tweet that said, "If it ain't white, it ain't right."
Oh, wow.
Now, this dude is about to be picked to be on an NFL team when 75% of the players are black. And he's supposed to lead them. So now they're talking about this is today, this morning. His stock is going down.
Of course,
he's not going to be number 1. But just think about this though. If he was able to say that then in high school, when he said he was just young and dumb, what happens is this: he must have been thinking it. He must feel that way.
Well, I mean, it's what they all think, and Teresa, you're right, exactly. This stuff is just can't. And I'm gonna tell you about an incident here with me. So we had my granddaughter here a few months ago, and my granddaughter has very long hair. We had it pressed out, and it was just flowing and doing whatever. And my daughter and I were out with her. My daughter went into Joann's, and me and my granddaughter went Five and Below, and this Caucasian lady just walks up and get ready to put her hands in my granddaughter's hair. And I said to her, "Please don't put your hands in her hair." She had the nerve to have attitude and was like, "I just want to see if it's real." Now, I can't tell y'all what I said, but I'm going to say to you like this, is I asked her, if I walked up to you and just put my hands in your hair, you'll be calling the cops and 911. Right. So what makes you think it's okay for you to walk up and put your hands in my granddaughter's hair? And she was like, "I want to know if it's real. Because y'all put weave in your hair." Now, see?
Y'all put weave in, yeah.
I had to think about that thing and see, and everybody that knows me that's listening here, I know y'all are over there laughing at me because y'all know when I get mad, that crease get in my forehead, and I stop talking, and
start
then
sweating.
She start cooking food for the whole army.
What? Look, and then it goes left. But I thank God for the growth and development. But my question is out there: what makes a person feel that it's okay to do that?
Privilege. White privilege.
I mean, we can't walk up and just do stuff like that to you. And yes, folks, newsflash, black people do grow hair, their own. We do have good hair. We have bad hair, just like y'all do. We can do that. I mean, it isn't whatever pictures or whatever y'all saw that says that we can grow hair. I promise you we can.
And as a disclaimer, we're not talking about all white people.
No,
that
we're
are
not.
bad,
We're
right?
not talking about all white people are bad. What we're talking about right now is there are things happening that we need to bring to your attention. No way am I saying that all white people are like this, because I have people in my family who are white. I have people who are friends that are white. I'm not talking. If your shoes are tight and your feet are hurting you, that's who I'm talking to.
Right.
Because if the shoe fit. That's all I'm going to say. If your toes crunched up, you mad, you on hot coal, I'm talking to you. I didn't hit home.
For the Southern folk, y'all know the saying, if we lying, we're crying.
You know it. You know it. And I want to go back and just talk about some other things that I've seen online. And we were saying that people said that black people aren't treated differently. I'm reading an article called Black Voices, and it was written by a gentleman, and let me pull it back up. His name is Nick. And I'm going to... on the next break, I'm going to have to pull it back up and read it to you. It was just telling us the different things that happen with the way we report crimes that black people do. So they had one where they talked about the young man that shot up the theater that when Batman was out, that movie, they said he was a brilliant but social misfit. He was a brilliant kid but social misfit. And then on Michael Brown's it said he smoked marijuana.
Yeah, media has a big play in how things are perceived, and then they're talking specifically to a group of people who then take that and run with it. So it's a snowball effect. If you're talking negative, the media is talking negative about a particular set of people, then those people who are already predisposed to thinking that way then take it, and then they take it, and now it becomes prevalent. And then now that unconscious bias sets in, right?
It does. I also like to point out that anybody who really knows about history, let's go back to World War II. Let's go back to Hitler, who people deem was an intelligent man. He was a man of science and a man of art and culture. But look at the atrocities that followed suit. Why is it then that only those people, people who are not of color, who commit these atrocities are genius men, but misled? They're considered sociopaths, not psychopaths. You know, I mean, you've got him, you've got the Unabomber, you've got the Green River Killer, you've got Ted Bundy, Ed Gacy, Wayne Gacy, Ed Gein.
You got all these people.
Where does the line stop then? I mean, last I checked, these are horrors and atrocities that happen here in American soil. These are homegrown domestic terrorists.
But they're geniuses, so we can't focus on that. Now I want to talk about this too. Let's talk about this Ohio teen that did the shooting out in Sheridan, Ohio. His name is T.J. Lane. He killed 3 kids and wounded 3 others. And during the court proceedings, he came into court with his shirt on, took it off, and had the word killer written on his shirt. Okay, he smirked at the parents, cursed at them that were doing their statement. The court proceeding did not stop, kept going, and he got life in prison. So Michael Brown was fatally shot in unarmed man, and he was shot and killed because he was black and just out there, and he was a big guy, and maybe he was fighting for his life. We don't know. But what I'm saying is this kid was allowed to go in court and smirk, and ain't nothing to it. But he did that. So my question is, what is the problem here? And then you got this suspect, Amy Bishop in Alabama. She killed 3 colleagues and wounded another one. And they said she was brilliant, but a social misfit.
It's perception, right? And so what happens is we've always been perceived as second-class citizens from slavery, from, like we talked about, the civil rights era. And so the perception is that we cause this stuff on ourselves. And we don't. And then what happens is then you have a whole family and generation of people who still think like that, or they pass it down to children. Because children are not born racist.
No,
but it's a learned behavior. So what happens is a lot of people have learned this. They just hadn't said anything. But now we have social media and we've got cameras on videos. Now it's being caught.
Now, I'm going to bring it up to the other current stuff. So I want your opinion because you got a small kid. See, I always say Jesus knew how to bring certain things up when it came down to me because I don't think I would have made it too well on some of these situations when it comes down to kids. But a school in Florida, teacher sent home 4th graders' homework to write down 3 positive aspects of slavery. While it was positive to be a slave. And then an Oregon teacher wanted them to write an essay on the positive effects of slavery. You hold that thought, because when I come back, I want you to answer that, because my kids are grown, and you got a smaller one. You guys, you're listening to Destiny Talk Live. When we come back, we're going to get deeper and deeper into this. We're going to talk about our ladies that were discriminated against on the golf course, and we're going to hear from them.
I hear Destiny calling me.
Sensation Station Network.
How would that we have your attention?
Knock them down. Real?
Yeah, it was.
Radio. Knock them down.
You cannot let a fear of failure, or a fear of comparison, or a fear of judgment stop you from doing what it is you do.
Let's talk about destiny.
Destiny Talk. Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Today in the house I have Anthony Rodriguez and Jonathan Reid, and we are talking about racism in America against people of color, black people. We have Anthony, who is here talking about our Latin culture and our Latin population. And you guys know John. He's talking about everything else that happens out here. If you're listening to us on Facebook and you want to be a part of the conversation, please go ahead, type your comment in the comment section. We'll read it out loud and discuss it. If you are listening to us on TuneIn Radio and you want to be a part of the conversation, you can text or call to 678-613-5857. I want to give a big shout out to Teresa McLean Smith, T. Andrews, Sky Cover, Reid, and Charles Chenault. He says, we are never perceived as citizens. We are what they deemed U.S. as, which is property. He's right. We are objects, dogs, and others respect more than those of color. And he's true. It's true. They are treated better than people of color. But, Anthony, I want to come to you because you have a small one.
No, actually, I like that comment that he stated, the young gentleman. He's right, because we are not viewed as actual citizens.
No.
I'd like to go ahead and touch base on the Puerto Rican community. All my boricuas, hey, bendiciones. We have never been viewed as actual citizens, even though we are U.S. property, our territory. Rather, let me restate. Now, why did they come over there? They needed, that extra extension to be able to watch Cuba for all the illegal activities and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people here in the States have the misconception that we're not American.
Because they don't know their history.
Right.
You know? And it makes me laugh because you brought that up. They don't know their history because...
It is. I mean, you go to Miami, you go to Orlando, you go to New York. First of all, a lot of people always first expect that just because you speak Spanish, we're all Mexican. I'm not hating on any of the Mexican communities, not at all. My wife is Mexican. I love y'all. But other countries speak Spanish, y'all.
Yeah.
A lot of other countries speak Spanish. The whole from Central America, from Mexico, down to South America. The only country in South America that does not speak Spanish is Brazil. In case you did not know. You know what other countries speak Spanish? Spain.
Right.
You'd also be surprised that we have countries in Africa that actually speak
Spanish.
Spanish. Not only that, but they speak French.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Côte d'Ivoire, New Guinea, Papua New Guinea.
Right.
They speak French.
And it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up because, like I said, my son-in-law is Mexican. My daughter and my kids are part Dominican. And it's funny to me because especially to see how people look at them. And even went to high school with you guys that would say to her, oh, you just saying your name fancy because you want it to sound Spanish. No, it is Spanish, and like I said, with all of this stuff that's going on, but I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this school. I can't believe that teachers, and this is happening, that you want students to go home and do homework and write about the positive effects of slavery. I promise you, that couldn't happen in my time.
And I'm trying to think of why would a teacher, my parents were school teachers, and I'm trying to think of what teacher I knew that would just try to make a positive out of something so negative.
Well,
I mean, I'm trying to thoughtfully think about that. There's nothing positive about slavery. Nothing.
But you know what? That really falls down into the regional aspect of here in the United States. I believe that's something that's all along the blue states, the southern states, specifically, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida,
Mississippi.
Florida up to half of Florida. Let me rephrase, because everybody knows once you pass Jackson, once you get down to Orlando and below, it goes from Caucasian-owned timeshares to the Hispanic community.
Right.
So, but I believe that's where it stems from, is because they have a very strong biblical Christian aspect, of here in the southern states. And there's I believe, I can't remember exactly where in the Bible, but I know it states that to the slaves, respect and look towards your master and obey, for an obeying slave is a child of God, somewhere along the lines. And it's like, okay, they're so quick to argue how certain biblical things are no longer relative to present times.
Only those that matter.
Exactly.
To them, or it's going to benefit them.
Exactly. And they want to pick and choose about this. And the question is why? And then another thing is, where was there a positive to slavery? And you know what? I'm actually even going to bring it down into something that they could relate. Let's talk about the Irish. Because the Irish were treated as slaves. The Irish were insulted. The Irish were treated horribly. And there's not a lot of history to it. So, but why was it just the Irish community? As opposed to, so where's the positive for the Irish community? Where was it positive that they were slaves?
Yeah, they don't want to talk about that. But when we come back, I'm going to ask some more questions, and I'm going to give you some more information on when the media treats white suspects and killers better than black victims.
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken in a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet, fingerling, Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
To Atlanta.
We give it. Good answer.
Sensation Station Network.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I want to thank everybody that has been tuning in today and has been commenting and following and engaging in the conversation. Thank you so much. If you're just joining us, we're talking about racism in America, discrimination against people of color. And my guests here are Anthony Rodriguez and Jonathan Reid. If you're listening to us on Facebook and you want to be a part of the conversation, go ahead, type your comment in the comment section. We'll read it out loud and discuss it. If you're listening to us on TuneIn Radio and you want to call in or text 678-613-5857, I want to read a comment from one of our viewers, Deanna Cuervo. She said, people of color are targeted in this manner because when we work and stick together, we are stronger. Systematic racism is to keep blacks from prospering and creating a profitable communities amongst our own. The government is threatened by this possibility because we are the reason they make their money. When the blacks support and shop black owned and the white corporations will lose, that's how I feel. We come from royalty, and when we realize our worth, the whites will no longer be superior. And I thank you for that comment, because I used to have someone say the white people took the shackles off our hands and our feet where we could see them and put them in our mind. First of all, I'm gonna tell you this: they ain't put nothing in my mind, because I don't think anybody is superior to me. If we go back to the history of everything, America don't even belong to the white people. So my people, Caucasian folks that are out there telling black people and Latin people and everyone else that aren't conceiving American to go back to their country, you get on the boat with us and go back to England. Go back to where y'all came from, because you've been lied to all your lives in history. They've been teaching you Columbus did not discover America. I'm going to break that out down to you now. You can't discover somewhere where people are already inhabited. So the Native Americans, this is their country. So if we all going to get out, we all need to leave them back here to do whatever. Now, you say that black people are beneath you, we're savages, because that's what history has taught us. But these savages built the very foundation that you're walking on because you didn't know how. That's just my opinion, So I'm just putting it out there. Stop saying those things, because it's not intelligent and it's not smart. The N word, look that up in the dictionary also, because that's any person who is ignorant and not educated. It's not just white people use it as a term to get to black people. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, anything that you can say, if you calling it to me, that's what you are too, because I don't let those things define me. But what we've got to stop doing is stop fighting and bickering amongst each other. We have to come together. Our forefathers fought hard. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, all of these people fought for rights for the black Americans. And you guys, that wasn't 100 years ago.
Right.
Okay, I just want to let y'all know it wasn't 100 years ago.
And I like what the listener said, because I know Dee Dee Hyder also made a point about our black dollars and brown dollars are keeping these people employed, putting these people in positions of power. And so if we're doing that, why are we still supporting those organizations which don't look after us? And I'm not saying that just, to stop everything. No, it employs us too.
Right. What I'm saying is, guys, we're not saying that all white people are bad. We're not saying that at all. What I'm saying is everybody has to be accountable for their actions. There are consequences to your actions. So if you say ignorant stuff, you have to suffer the consequences for your actions. And Deanna also said the fastest way to control is to instill fear. That's what colonizers have been doing to control our every move. And it's true. We are made to think, especially black women, if we're not a certain color and don't have a certain style, we have to be, we're not beautiful, okay? I had a young lady from Africa, Lola, on my show, and I love Lola because Lola says she is beautiful, and she is very beautiful, inside and out. I mean, we will down ourselves. We try to bleach our skin. We do all this kind of nonsense. Let me tell y'all something. We are from royalty, so we need to stop that. And just like you said, all of us were dropped off. You guys, Latin America, your people were on the ship too. They just got dropped off. In different places and just different things. So I need people, and I posted on my page really about Black history. I do it every day, and I was told I shouldn't do that because it's not right. Well, I'm just tell everybody don't read it. Don't read it. So I want to go back to when I told you guys we were talking about when the media treats white suspects and killers better than they do black victims. Okay, so and this article was written by a young man by the name of Nick Wing, okay? And he said that with the bomber, again, the theater shooting, suspect was brilliant science student. Then you go down, Michael Brown struggled with the officer before shooting. These are the headlines, okay? Then you go to the Alabama, which I told you she was a brilliant suspect, but a social misfit. Let's see. Then they said the young man that died in Alabama, what was his name? 25-year-old black man. They said Montgomery's latest homicide victim had history of narcotics abuse, tangles with the law. Okay? White suspect, son of a Staten Island murderers, were brilliant, athletic, but his demons were the death of his parents. Trayvon Martin was suspended 3 times from school. Marinate on that for a minute, and we're going to come back and talk about it.
I'm taking over this territory. From now on, it's mine.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Do you love great-fitting jeans with trendy styles? Go to wristdenim.com and check out their fabulous form-fitting premium denim jeans, sizes 1 to 24. Their accurate size charts are designed to make your online shopping experience easier, offering free shipping and no hassle returns because their motto is, you should look your hottest at all times. Wristdenim.com, jeans for beautiful women. If you want to stand out in a crowd, get your jeans today at wristdenim.com.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And lead the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. If you're just joining us, we're talking about racism against people of color. In the house with me today is Anthony Rodriguez and John Reid. You know, we've been talking a lot about just the different things, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, rolling their eyes right now. It's like, oh my God. Again, I want to put this disclaimer out here. We're not saying that every white person in America is the devil. That's not what we're saying. We're just bringing out injustices, bringing light to injustices that are happening to people of color. You know, before the break, I was reading some things about how we talk about the white killers versus the black people that get murdered or killed or whatever. And it's always such a glorified strain of just what happens. Now, I want to talk to our ladies out there right now. I want to, you know, because we black women run into, just women of color, period. We run into all kind of nonsense. We're supposed to be loud. We're supposed to be, you know, very promiscuous, because that's what the colonizers said about the black women that they brought from Africa. Because we walked around, you know, with just naked and whatever, because we weren't the ones who were sexual deviants. Okay, because if we could walk around in our country and our homeland free, and our brothers up there, they weren't raping us and doing all other kind of stuff, then, you know, they had to make up something. So they put it out there for us, and we're supposed to look like apes. Okay, that we look bad and stuff like that. But I got a question for you. And you guys, if you're listening out there and you want to answer this, go ahead. But I'm going to ask my fellas in here. If these women were so promiscuous and whatever, why were they raping us? We look like apes.
Right.
Why were they raping us? And why were they doing all these other things and making sure that we bred because they needed more slaves in there? So, you know, and why do we think that we supposed to look like something? They want to make us to what they want to be. But yet they were always up in our house.
They were sexually deviant. And then what happens is then now you have the mixed kids, if you will, and then now they're looked upon as being better than the kids who are, you know, African American. And then now, fast forward to our time, the media has portrayed long hair as beautiful, right?
Right.
And then our women now go and get long hair, or they change their eyes, or they bleach their skin. When, like you said before, the definition of beauty is you should feel good about yourself, right? Not what somebody else's definition of beauty is. And so we still face that today. And that's one of the issues that we're having. We're having those issues. Divide and conquer. Back in the slavery days, they put us against ourselves, and we still are doing that today. And you know, and we're talking about how disparate the injustice is against us. Sometimes we have injustice among ourselves.
We have to
Right.
break that down and stop doing that. I just want to give a quick message out there. There's a breaking news that came in that said Bill Cosby found guilty on all counts in sexual assault case, could face 10 years for each.
Wow.
Man.
I actually thought he was going to get off.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess everybody was like, you know, Bill, wow. Just kind of just threw me off the But you know, when you get into situations and you know, as that power thing, and I want to tell you guys, you know, that this is a prime example. I've known some people of lighter persuasion that have been done with some stuff. They not doing no time, you know, and they still playing professional football. I ain't gonna mention no names on the Steelers, but at any rate,
because it wasn't a person of color that brought the charge against him, right?
Right.
There's lots of women,
Lots of women.
right? But it's this main one who brought this last one, right?
yeah, so he got that. But all I want to say is that I need my ladies to step up. I'm gonna come bring it back to that. You know, beauty is only skin deep. Your beauty isn't what you look like on the outside, how much breast you can show, how much booty is hanging out. That's not what beauty is. Beauty is your personality. You could be sexy in some jeans and a t-shirt, walk in a room and command respect just by how you walk in. That's not loud. That's not running around rolling your eyes and acting like you can't talk to anybody. You just walk in. You held your head up. Go ahead.
So a lot of people, I'm sure they notice, it'd be impossible to, but a lot of the Latin communities, women, they get themselves done. They get these operations. They get these breast enlargements or these Botox additions and whatnot, and these injections. Exactly. Thank you. The Botox and all these things. And yet they're still chased after. So, you know, if the rest of us aren't deemed, you know, beautiful from the instant, then even after all that is done, yet we're still looked down upon. Like, so what are you hunting us for then still? Why are you still coming? Because there's got to be something. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, after you can change all you want, but in the hood, it's still going to be in the hood.
Yeah.
You still liking what's under the hood no matter what.
Right.
I mean, history speaks for itself.
Even so, guys, you could do a lot to change and try to blend in. You are going to be, and I want to say this to everyone and make sure I'm not flipping my words. You're going to be black. If you're black, you're going to be black no matter what situation you're in. You can be, President Obama was president, but President Obama was black. And they let him know it every day. This man led our country for 8 years, but he was taught, you know, they let him know every day you black. They didn't like him. Now, we got all this other stuff coming around, and then you got someone that praises negativity and ignorance. We got to look at this stuff, guys. We've got these rallies in Noonan, the neo-Nazis, Stone Mountain, the neo-Nazis, whatever, they come together. They got all this protection, but two black people come together in a parking lot and start talking. We got a problem. You know, it's something suspicious going on. And don't act like y'all don't know, because you do see it. It does happen. And we're going to talk more. I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk about these titles again, from how the media treats white suspects and killers better than black victims. We're going to talk about it. And then our women in Philadelphia.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold
I want to be
day.
a football stadium.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
You think you can do this to me? I'm the man up in this piece. Sensation Station Network.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G, and we are talking about racism in America against people of color. I have a caller on the line. Caller, state your name, please.
My name is Reid.
Hey Ray, how are you? Thank you for calling in.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. So Ray, tell us your reason for calling right now.
Well, I just heard a few topics, and I just wanted to put it out to the listeners in regards to what I actually feel happens in this world regarding racism.
Okay.
This was something that had happened in 2007. I'm an avid golfer, and I was at a golf course down in Villa Rica, Georgia, and me and two other black guys and a white guy, and we were just golfing the whole entire day. Mind you, my friend, he's a Homeland Security guy, and he lives on the golf course. And so these three white guys were essentially hitting their ball into our group, and we never said anything. But when we got on the green on this one particular hole, this one white guy comes up and asks us if we had his ball, and we told him no, and he said that I'm playing with a certain type of ball, and my friend said that I have that same ball, and so everything just fell wide open at that point, because this guy was drunk, he was very belligerent, he didn't care, so at that point I didn't care, because he had just interrupted a nice day.
So let me ask you this. Did he come with racial intentions? What was his approach? Was the ball just a ruse, or did he start calling names, or did he start talking out of the way to you guys?
Well, he started talking down to me, and in a sense, it was my golf trip, so I felt the need to be the one that spoke out more than the other three.
Mm-hmm.
But it just wasn't something that I agreed with, and I don't think anybody would agree with that. Mainly golfers, we try to be gentlemen throughout the whole game, and just to have someone to continuously hit their ball, those golf balls hurt.
Right.
We just didn't pay any attention to this guy, and of course we were mildly drinking, but we were still where we were scoring our correct handicap. But
right.
This guy was just totally drunk, and I think that was what had him, that got him kind of brave.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or made him feel brave.
Yeah, and I thank you for calling, because we're going to get ready and talk about that incident that happened in Philadelphia. And I'm a golfer myself, so I totally understand what you're talking about. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about the golf incident in Philadelphia. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your story with us.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Attention, licensed financial professionals. Are you looking to provide client solutions for longevity risks, withdrawal rate risks, and sequence of return risks? If you answered yes, then Game Plan Financial Marketing could be right for you. We help financial professionals at every level of production by providing mentoring, sales training, and marketing support to help you grow your business. At Game Plan, our top priority is supporting you and helping you reach that next level of success on your terms, not ours. New team members receive a personalized step-by-step marketing guide to help take your business to the next level. Claim your copy today. Call Brian Cantrell at 404-889-6317. That's 404-889-6317. Offer is intended for licensed insurance professionals only.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to Facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We just had a caller call in. I believe he said his name was Ray, and he was talking about an incident he had on a golf course out in Villa Rica where it was him, two other African Americans, and one Caucasian, and some Caucasian players were hitting their balls in there, and then they started some conversation that was very, basically demeaning. Wanted to know why they were there, basically trying to let them know you don't have any right here on this golf course. And I understand that because, I play golf, and that's how John and I met. We were playing golf, and we know the etiquette and the different things. And, there are courses that are still around here that don't really like too much of us coming out and playing. So it's a great segue right into this conversation with our young ladies out in Philadelphia. And I know John had an opportunity to actually talk with them and so forth, and had some conversations. So I'm going to let him take the helm of this conversation.
So the story that's making national headlines, as most of you know, has gained national attention, was about these 5 professional black women who are part of a golf organization, and they went out to this Grand View golf course in Philadelphia, I believe, right? Pennsylvania. And so in the midst of playing on the second hole, the owner, actually wasn't even the owner, it was the owner's father, came on the second hole and told them that they were playing too slow. All right, so now you've got a group of 5 professional women who golf there regularly, being told on the second hole, right,
okay,
that it's too slow. So they said, okay, well, we'll speed up the pace of play. And so they skipped the third hole, right, and then they proceeded to play again. These 2 owners then, the owner and his son, told them, hey, you have to leave. You're taking too long at the turn, and if you don't leave, we're calling the police. And so the video's posted, and the lady who actually posted the video, her name is Sandra Thompson. She's actually an attorney and the NCAA leader in that organization, up in that area. So now she's, being, respectful, but hey, listen, we're not being slow. So then they made up the story about them now taking too long at the turn. So if anybody that knows golf, it takes about 2.5 hours to do 9 holes.
9 holes, and then
they did the first 9 holes in an hour and 45 minutes.
So they skipped holes, and then too, you and I play.
Right.
At the 9th hole, what does everybody do at the 9th hole?
Hey, we take a break, go get a hot dog, get a beer, and so the 3 ladies out of the 5 were so upset they just decided to leave anyway. But I'm glad the other 2 stayed because then they videotaped the encounter. Of course, the police was called because, I guess the police is their manager, and the police was called, and they didn't make an incident report. It didn't arrest anybody, but then everybody left. So the issue is...
hold that there, because I saw that video, and the one said... she explained that he was a senator or something or whatever,
a
state representative, and then he said, this is what they do anyway. This is what they like to do.
Right.
Don't talk. And the younger one was very aggressive.
Right, and that's the co-owner. Him and his wife own that particular golf course.
Okay, yeah.
And so, and that in and of itself was enough to say, hey, this is not covert racism. This is overt racism. And then it also came out today that the group that was playing right behind these women, they said no, they weren't playing too slow, and they admitted that now I wish they would have spoke up at the when the police came.
Oh no, they're not going to do that.
But then after the fact, he's being interviewed and he said no, they weren't playing too slow. So if they're not playing too slow, they're within their allotted time, and they take a small break at the turn like everybody else does, then why are they forced to leave the golf course? And in fact, they even said we'll refund you your membership.
No, they didn't say the whole. They said the membership.
So that means they didn't want them there in the first place, right?
You see, now I do remember reading in one of the articles them stating that they called the police to try to come to a reasonable solution.
Exactly.
And then that also brings up another question of, are we not capable of discussing between 2 parties? Or is that what it is now? Can we not speak from one person to another? Can our group not speak to your group? Do we need a translator? Do we need, does my lawyer need to call your lawyer to get this? What is this, a divorce dispute?
I know, and I posted on Cherry's post earlier that I've been in groups before. We play golf. We've been in groups where they ask you to either quicken up your pace,
right,
or number 2, let the other group play through.
Fall back.
Yeah, you fall back and let them pass you.
And then that's always that's common.
Yeah.
Right. They don't call the police to come to an amicable solution because
with all this stuff that's coming out, especially these folks calling people out in stores, just ranting rates and all this other stuff. It's it's disheartening. And I'm not going to be quiet about it, and I hope none of my other people are going to be quiet about it and think it's just going to pass by. Yes, we do need to come together. Yes, there are some skill sets that we need to learn how to effectively communicate, but it's not just us. Because you can't communicate with people who don't know how to communicate to you, who are unwilling to communicate with you. Now, I want to go back to something, and I want to read this to you guys again, because I want people to understand that how to read these newspapers clippings when they come out. Again, when the media treats white suspects and killers better than they do black victims. You have the Oregon school shooting suspect, fascinated with guns, but was a devoted Mormon, his friends and family say. Police slain Lakeland teen had been shot before, possibly drug-related.
And he's the victim.
He's the victim. He's dead. Santa Barbara shooting. Suspect was soft-spoken, polite, a gentleman, ex-principal says. Ohio man was carrying a viable pump air rifle, not a toy, when cops killed him. Ohio shooting suspect I told you guys earlier, TJ Lane, he was a fine person. Okay, deputy killed Marine out of fear for children's safety, official says. Straight A student plots to bomb the high school.
And that's the suspect.
Right. Shooting victim had run-ins with the law. See, do you guys see the pattern that's going on there? They're not going to find, that could have been a brilliant kid, because some of y'all that don't know, some of these victims that died were brilliant. One of the young ladies that was killed at Waffle House was a straight A student. But did you hear about that? No, you did not. You just saw this person get hooked up with some bulletproof vests and looked like he just had a shower and smiling at the camera. We're going to come back and talk some more.
Radio to Atlanta.
Good answer.
Sensation Station Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And lead the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
JBT, 700 Miami Circle, 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans
Body Tech.
Hey everybody, this is the part of the show where we wish everybody happy birthday and we give you some things that are happening around in the community. So I want to give a big shout out and a happy birthday to Latanya Gillespie Moto, Steve Jalil, Amber, Sandra Lopez, Larita Coleman, Roderick Dixon, and Lorenzo Davis. Happy birthday to you guys. Turn up one time, turn up for me, but be safe. Also, I want to let you guys know about 2 things that are happening. On May 19th in Noonan, Georgia, there's going to be a 5K run called Kira's Cares. It's the Royal Run. It is to help support families who have children with cancer. I'm going to be posting this on my page. If you want to be a part, donate, run, or even come out and volunteer, please reach out to me at destinytalklive@gmail.com, and I'll have it on my page for you to have more information. There is also a group that it's called Chris for Kids. Chris was a young man who passed away that was big on education, and his family created a golf tournament where they raised funds to give college scholarships to kids. So the Chris for Kids golf tournament kicks off this fall on September 29th, 2018 at the Indian Trace Golf Course. Please come out and help support the benefit and enjoy a beautiful day of golfing. Shotgun is at 10 a.m., $65 per person, or $240 for a foursome. $5 mulligans and lunches included. If you want to give more information, it's Ray Story, 678-665-3696, or email him at sstory84@gmail.com. I will also have this information up on Destiny Talk Live Facebook page, and I hope you guys come out and support both causes.
Attention, licensed financial professionals. Are you looking to provide client solutions for longevity risks, withdrawal rate risks, and sequence of return risks? If you answered yes, then Game Plan Financial Marketing could be right for you. We help financial professionals at every level of production by providing mentoring, sales training, and marketing support to help you grow your business. At Game Plan, our top priority is supporting you and helping you reach that next level of success on your terms, not ours. New team members receive a personalized, step-by-step marketing guide to help take your business to the next level. Claim your copy today. Call Brian Cantrell at 404-889-6317. That's 404-889-6317. Offer is intended for licensed insurance professionals only.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you going to do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Hey, Brenna.
Hey, Prime.
Spring is in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Love is too, and the weather makes it nice to be out with your boo on a date unless you don't have any money.
That's so true. But what are we going to do?
The Loop is going to look out for the people because our loyal listeners look out for us on ssnatl.com, Radio Knock Them Down. Now, we want you to share the good vibes with other people, those you like.
Or even the ones that you don't like, because, hey, they need it too.
Plus, we got enough to go around for everybody.
Oh, so share and share alike?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the post, tag 5 of your friends, and share the live.
When you hear us say,
you know what to do.
Tell them we on, so you can get this quick trip gift card right around the city, 285, 75, 85, top down, wind blowing your hair back, and the gas is on us. And maybe some treats too, so do this.
Like the post, tag 5 of your friends, and share the live.
When you hear us say, tell them we on, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. when you're inside the loop with Sean Prime and Brenna B.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. If you're just joining us, we're talking about racism in America. We have a quote here from a Janae Small that says, "Please don't murder black people because they mistake what's in their hand for a gun. That headline is trash. People carry guns for a living. They see guns every day. They know exactly what they look like. Police fatally shoot black people because they get away with it." And that's you know, you can't even dispute that because that's what's been happening. Now I want to talk about families. All right, let's talk about these women who have lost their sons to senseless violence. The young man in California that was shot in his backyard 20 times took the cops 7 minutes before they administered CPR or even called for help. And all he had was it gum? I think it was a pack of gum, right?
He didn't have a gun on him.
He didn't even have a weapon on him. But then, you know, I just want to know, how are these people are supposed to feel and think if that's not what's happening out there? If we don't think that black people are being targeted, I just need to know.
One of the callers actually made a comment about, then what's the solution then? You know,
the solution is we come together. We have to come together as a people to a united front, and then talk about how can we make things different. But before we go on, we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. What's your name?
I'm DC. How y'all doing?
I'm doing all right,
Hey,
DC. Thank you for calling in. What would you like to say to us?
I think the problem is us, really, because we have tricked ourselves in believing that we're a part of something that we've never been a part of.
No.
And that, you know, we've tricked ourselves into believing that these people have the capacity to change. I was just in a conversation about this earlier today. You know, blacks have been in America since August the 20th, 1619, which is 398 years, 8 months, and 6 days. And I'm 50. So in 50 years of me living, I've never seen an equal, fair, or just in America for people that look like me.
Right.
And if anybody has in your lifetime, then, you know, I'll listen. But in 398 years, 8 months, and 6 days, that's a pattern of behavior that's not going to change. And we have this fictitious belief that day they're going to wake up and say, it's going to be kumbaya and we're going to do better. I just don't believe that they have the capacity to do it.
And you know what, DC, I thank you for saying that, because I actually said something like that on a post yesterday with someone that talked to me about all lives matters. All lives don't matter. We do not matter, and it's only like that, and they say it and they get adamant about it because it's making them uncomfortable to believe that after 300 and something odd years, they haven't changed. They just gotten worse. And now, with these teachers, in Oregon and Florida, telling these students to do these essays on why the positive effects of slavery. And then one woman tweeted out on Twitter and on Facebook saying, I wish we could go back to lynching and mobbing. We need to let these ends hang. What else do we need to show or say for people to understand what you're saying? We're not equal.
Right.
And DC,
what you have to do, as intelligent as we are as a people, the reality is you're not as intelligent as you really think. Because an intelligent person, if it was your child in a situation where they were in an abusive relationship that they had been in for 20 years, and the person have always lied, the person has always tricked them, the person has always worked against your child, what advice would you give to the kid, to your child? What advice would you give to them?
You couldn't.
Negotiate with them?
No, you
tell
couldn't.
them, hang in there to see if they'll change. Let's pray about it. You would tell your child to stay away from this person.
Right.
They mean you no good, right?
Right. And
all you have to do is take that advice for yourself.
Right. And we have to come together as a people and start talking and figure out ways to better our communities. And I thank you so much, DC, for calling in and giving us your comment, because it was great and we needed to hear that. And I truly appreciate that. You guys, he just dropped some knowledge on us. And like we said, we're running around here thinking we all have all the answers, and we're asking people to accept us who never will. So how do we make this better? How do we make it better for our Latino Americans? How do we make it for our African Americans or any person in color? If you got the answer, we want to hear about it. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live.
What's a dumb way to listen to an awesome mix of urban hits? Smart Rock.
Sensation Station Network.
Too much sauce.
Sensation Station Network.
Break yourself, fool!
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And lead the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're not the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Ugh!
Need a little help?
Aren't you going to do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. We had a great show today. Anthony is here and John, and I love the fact that you guys have come here and we've talked about just different things and why we all need to come together and understand that our Latin American brothers and sisters are no different than what we are, or any person of color, and that we all have to come together. I want to play this clip that I played earlier before we close out, and I want you guys to hear this one more time for me. Okay, it says what the gentleman was. It was a Kansas lawmaker, Stephen Alford. He said the reason why they don't want to legalize marijuana out in Kansas is because if we go back and look, he said the African Americans, they are basically users. They were basically responded worse to the drugs and because of their character makeup. So basically what he was saying is we just junkie people, you know. we're inferior to what they are. But I want to leave this message out here to everybody that's listening. Again, we're not talking about every white person out there in America is bad. We're not saying that at all. But what I am saying is if you sit around here and you think that black people or people of color are not treated differently, then there's something seriously wrong with you. There's stuff out here that's blatant and that's just prominent that you can see it, calling black people because they're sitting in Starbucks waiting on another colleague to come in to have a business meeting because they didn't order anything. You thought it was okay to call the police, and then you want them to apologize or go talk and make better. No. I need you guys to do better. I need you guys to know that racism didn't go anywhere. It's never been gone. Slavery didn't end. It's still here. It's just been hidden. Anthony, one thing that you would leave the listeners today that you want to put out there, what type of advice or word of advice would you give our listeners?
The best thing I could say is that we got to come together, y'all. Blacks, Latinos, you know what, everybody else, Asians, Indians, the whole community, the whole, you know, people of color community, and the white people too, because I know we've got a lot of Caucasian people that they don't support all this negative action that's happening here in America.
Right.
I've got a lot of good white people who are friends of mine, close, dear friends of mine. I treat them like brothers and sisters. I love y'all. We all need to bound together. We need to show that we are a united front. This is not what we want here in America. This is not what people bled for. This is not what my fellow soldiers, what other Marines, Navies,
Air
SEALs,
Force,
you know, everybody, what they died for in other lands. We came here to be equal. We're supposed to be about America for all people.
We the people.
Exactly. We the people. Where is we the people? Because we're not seeing it now. It's just segments, little groups.
Certain people.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say?
So we keep saying come together, but we don't know how to come together. And so one thing I think is real practical, Jerry, is that we need to train not only our community, but corporations.
Not just corporation, everybody.
Educational institutions. And we need to train them on cultural competency. That means the ability and willingness to come together and to interact responsibly.
Right.
And people have to be trained to do that, right? Because we have unconscious biases, but those unconscious biases have to be trained. And like, for instance, let me give you an example. I wrote to Starbucks, the NAA Legal Defense Fund, the Anti-Defamation League, because we do training.
Right.
We can train people on cultural competency, but the trainers have to look like us.
Right, because
I believe the trainers have to look like us, give these trainings to individuals to get them over their biases. And I think that's a practical way of getting to some real answers.
And what I want to do is put a call to action out there to all my media personnel, those of you that are on radio, internet radio, podcasts, television, news anchors, whatever it is. We have a platform that we need to use positively. We need to call out injustices, and we need to rally our people together to come to a common ground to where we can talk responsibly. You're all right to hate me. It's your right to not like the color of my skin, but it's my right to protect myself. And we got to make sure that we understand that. So everybody that you have your own beliefs, your own groups, and you want to do what you do that. But understand there are consequences to every action. We have to be positive role models. We have to invoke positivity into our young people. We need to stop all of this bickering and this hating. But is it going to end just because I'm saying it? No. We have to do something about it. So how do we do it? Everybody want to know what we got to do? We need all of our leaders, all of our media people to come together, hold platform, hold town hall meetings, start teaching people. go out into our communities that are underserved and start teaching them on how to have the social skills, how to be able to have emotional intelligence, skills that can help them maneuver through the rest of the world. And you got to do this from your heart. Sometimes people aren't going to have the money to give you. But if you really want to make a change and make a difference, then I'm calling you out to do that. Start volunteering. Start going out into these communities and making it better, because I know here at Destiny Talk Live, that's what Cherry G does, and that's what everybody else does, and you're going to see us more this summer out in the community. Again, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing this topic, and this isn't over, guys. We're going to have another one, and it's going to be just profound. Thank you again. You guys have a great afternoon.